Hi folks, welcome to the preparedhomestead.com. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Thought I'd come out here just as the sun is starting to peek out over the ridge there and have a little morning fire and a little morning coffee. Actually, I think this is the second or third cup. I can't keep up. I know that's not necessarily something to be proud of, but hey, that's how it works. You know, some people, they just thrive off of it. And for the rest of you, it's probably better that those of us that thrive off of it continue to thrive off of it. It makes the world a much safer place. It's cold this morning, but not terribly cold. It's in the mid-20s right now. It was around 20 when I woke up. But this weekend here in the Ozarks, they're calling for -20, -25 wind chills, actual temperatures probably down to 10 below or something like that. So some cold stuff coming in, and I know that many of you elsewhere are already experiencing it, but are also preparing for this polar vortex, whatever kind of thing that they're talking about that's going to be hitting us all. So keep yourselves prepared for that. You know, I say it all the time, preparedness isn't just about for when the world falls apart and the apocalypse and World War III and Armageddon and, you know, all those kind of little catchphrases that all the prepper and the prepper movies use. It's also just getting ready for normal life, you know, storms, winter, you know, rain, floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, all that kind of stuff. So we have to get ready for that. So make sure you're prepared. You know, for those of you that and this is true with a lot of people, because I've actually been hearing from people this week that maybe they've moved from Texas or Florida or something like that, and they're not used to the really cold weather, and they move into a place where they're trying to homestead, and they're caught off guard because the weather can get pretty rough in certain places. Here it's still pretty moderate, but you know, as of, you know, example this weekend, snow and sub-zero temperatures are certainly possible. And so make sure you're ready for that. Your animals, your vehicles, your water pipes, yourself, how you dress, you know, make sure you layer up. Try to stick with wool clothing. This here's a wool shirt. It's amazing how just this shirt and a, you know, decent little thermal underneath can keep me warm through some pretty harsh weather. So good socks, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you have it ready because you know, what happens if the weather is extreme like that, really cold, really stormy or whatever, and then some kind of other thing happens on top of it, you know, some type of breakdown or an emergency where a neighbor or someone in your tribe needs help. If you hear a cat, the little cat is trying to figure out what I'm doing out here in the woods. So make sure you're ready for that. I have advocated for a long time, especially living out like this, that we have to be Minutemen all the time. And I'm not talking about just Minutemen to go grab your guns and fight off the redcoats. I'm talking about being able to react very quickly to an emergency, whatever that emergency is. For those of you that live out kind of like I do, you're probably familiar with it somewhat, because out here, you know, there's not a whole lot of emergency assistance from the government. I mean, it exists, but it's not as easily and readily and quickly available. So we have to stick together out here, and being able to respond quickly to an emergency is very important. So make sure that you're prepped up for that kind of stuff, because a lot of you are going to be experiencing some pretty harsh temperatures over the next coming days. We should continue that type of preparedness really all the time, especially right now. I think a lot of people, especially on the outside, are the ones that just start watching this kind of stuff. They think, my goodness, are these prepper homesteader people, are they just hyper paranoid? Do they just live in this constant state of fear? They're always talking about being prepared. No, that's the thing. We're not. And it's not that unusual. In fact, it's most of human history, this was normal. It was normal to be ready to react to an immediate threat. That was something that you know, the early homesteaders, the early pioneers, the people back in the Great Depression, and throughout all of America and all of the world, through most of our history, we had to depend upon ourselves and our neighbors to take care of things, and not, hope that some big government savior was going to come in and take care of things. The way the world is looking right now, with the very strong possibilities of wars in multiple places. I mean, North and South Korea. North Korea says that they are done. They view South Korea as an enemy. They're not going to hold back. They're not going to try to work things out. The United States just said the other day that all negotiations has fallen through in the Middle East and that they're preparing for war. The Yemen Houthis just yesterday again attacked some shipping vessels after they were told this is the final warning. Do not do this again. Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine is saying that Russia is bombarding them probably, more than they've ever done before. That's very much heating up. Ukraine is looking pretty desperate, and who knows if something really big may escalate there, something on the level of nuclear even. There's just so much going on around the world right now. And I'm only talking about wars, and we're not talking about all the other stuff, that it would be in everybody's best interest to stay prepared for any tragic or emergency event on a moment's notice. You might say, well, if Ukraine drops a nuke or Russia drops a nuke on Ukraine or vice versa, is that going to immediately affect me? It might. Depending on the scenario, I could easily see people here in the United States go into a panic that a nuke was used and, run out and buy everything. If China invaded Taiwan, potentially the same thing could happen. If some major escalation in the Middle East happened, those are all strong possibilities. People will go into a panic. I was talking to someone the other day, and just because of all of this weather stuff, where there's various places across the country starting to get snow and everything, and they said in their area that they were at, they had gone to the store when all this was starting to snow and everything, and people were just in a panic. They were in a panic buying everything. He said he couldn't hardly, he wasn't there panic buying. He was just there, buying things, whatever, groceries, and that people were kind of losing it. I got another report the other day up in Washington State that people are killing cattle out in the fields, not the alien kind. They're not. It's not the aliens doing it, but they're killing cattle, and they're literally butchering them where they lay, and taking all the good meat cuts off of the animal and leaving the rest of the carcass there. And this is becoming more of a problem in things like that. I've been talking about for the last 2-3 years the increase in cattle thefts, even chicken thefts, things like that, because people are getting desperate. It's just like you watch it on the news where these people are running into grocery stores, and they're not stealing the most expensive items. They're stealing laundry soap and toilet paper, things that are just normal household goods. And you think, is there really a black market for that? Well, there is, because people are desperate, and prices have gone up, and people can't afford things. And so when you add all of this together and more, it's just a big old pressure cooker, and it's getting ready to explode. When that will be, who knows? But I'm telling you, it doesn't look like it's much longer. And so we need to be able to react in a pretty quick notice of things going on. There's just, you should have a list. You should have a plan. You should kind of go over that, role play it, react, through the plan of how to, what to do if something happens. If everything goes into chaos pretty quickly, are you going to go fill up gas tanks and get back home? Or are you going to, everyone rush to the house and kind of lock things down, fill up water jugs and stuff? That's, we have routines like that around here for lots of things. If there's storms coming and it looks like it could knock the power out, and we do have solar backup and all that kind of stuff, but if there was something that caused the well not to work, is what I'm saying. We go through and we make sure water jugs are all filled up. Gas tanks are, topped off. During this time of the year, I'm not letting my fuel tank in my vehicle get below a quarter tank, because I want to make sure it's topped off. If something happens and we're stuck out in the, woods, I want to have enough fuel. these are the kind of simple things that we should be doing on a regular basis. But because of what's going on in the world, we should be taking some extra steps and making sure that we are ready to go. Have a list, go over it with your family, have a little family meeting and say, okay, if something really bad happens, this is where we're going to meet. You know, this is how we're going to get home. This is what we're going to get ready. You know, if we have to put things at the front door in case we have to leave, or pull things out of storage and get them ready, you know, fill tanks up, fill water jugs up, whatever it is that you think that you need to do, you need to have that plan in place, because the possibility of having to use that is becoming more and more likely, and we don't want to get caught off guard. We don't want to just continually believe that everything's just going to be okay. I see it in the comments all the time. Oh, nothing's going to happen. I've been hearing that for 3 or 4 years now, and things have been happening on a very regular basis, and some of them quite catastrophic. And so I'm waiting for that nothing going to happen time, because lots and lots of things have been happening that's making the world a more dangerous place and pushing us closer to, you know, a real collapse. So we can't allow ourselves to just kind of fall asleep at the wheel, so to speak, and not be prepared. We've had way too many warning signs, folks. There's warning signs every day of what's going on and how bad it's going to get. And so you need to be being very active right now within your preparations. You know, I know last month a lot of people were busy with holidays, things like that, kind of slowed people down in their preparations. Now it's time to pick it back up. You've got cold weather, possibility of harsh cold weather, and then all of this other stuff that's going on. It looks like the world is just about ready to explode in war, and many other things. So don't become too relaxed right now. Now is the time to be very active in your preparations, active in your plan of what to do, how to react, how to be a Minuteman. What does that mean? What does it mean to jump into action when something happens? You know, when an ice storm comes through, or a blizzard, or the power goes out for your whole region, or whatever it is. What are you going to do, and how are you going to react? What are the tools that you need, the training that you need? Everything needs to be in place as best as possible, because we're just living in a time period right now where these kinds of emergencies could just happen very quickly, and they could be very devastating, because most of the world right now is they're just on edge. There's just so much tension right now. That's why I don't think it would take much to cause people to go into a panic. And then with all these illegals pouring across, as a last final little note here, I watched a little video last night, and it was this guy that had crossed the border, you know, come in as a asylum seeker, illegal, whatever, from Iran. And he was being interviewed. He seemed like a really sensible guy, spoke really well English and everything, but he was saying, I mean, this guy just crossed the border. They were at the border. He just crossed the border illegally. And he said he would be, if he was the governors and the president and stuff, he would be very concerned with all of these illegals. He said these people are coming from all over the world, and he mentioned, you know, like China and Russia and the Middle East and stuff. And he said, and you know, if things fall apart, you know, if there's some big world war, or you know, China invades Taiwan or something like that, do you really think all of these people are going to be on the American side here in the United States? Or do you think they're going to side with, you know, China, or they're going to side with Russia or the Middle East if things happen? And that means you're going to have millions of people that are siding with the enemy right here in the United States, and that could be a very dangerous situation. So the possibility of things, you know, spiraling very quickly are becoming more of a reality, and we need to be ready. Make sure your plan is gone over and refreshed and in your mind and role played out with your family, so they know how to react. It's just like when you're in school and you did fire drills and you did tornado drills and you did nuclear attack drills. Remember, you get under their desk and help you protect you from a nuclear bomb. You need to be doing the same kind of stuff with your family, doing little drills of what you should do when things get really bad, because it's becoming more of a likelihood that they will get bad. Folks, you need to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.